What happens when two of Hollywood's most likable stars sit down for what should be a cheerful chat, only for it to spiral into one of the most awkward moments daytime television has ever seen? Today, we're breaking down every look, every pause, every word from the interview that has everyone talking. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments because, trust me, you'll have plenty by the end. Kelly Clarkson starts the interview like she always does, friendly and full of energy, her bright smile lighting up the stage. Colin Farrell walks out to roaring applause, calm and collected, flashing his trademark grin. They exchange pleasantries. He compliments the set. She jokes about his new film. Everything feels light, comfortable, and easy. But within minutes, the tone shifts completely, catching everyone off guard. Kelly leans in and asks Colin about how he chooses his roles, especially his recent dramatic ones. It's a harmless question, the kind actors get every day. Colin answers thoughtfully, explaining how he looks for characters with emotional depth and truth that connect with audiences. He's engaged, articulate, exactly what any talk show host hopes for. The audience listens closely, nodding along. Then Kelly adds a follow-up, saying some critics have noticed that many of his roles involve addiction, conflict, or moral struggle. Her tone is curious, not harsh, but something in her phrasing makes Colin pause. He doesn't overreact, but you can see his jaw tighten slightly. His tone stays calm as he acknowledges that those themes often appear in his work, though not on purpose. He talks about how the industry tends to typecast, how sometimes actors take jobs because they trust a director or feel connected to a story. Kelly nods, seemingly satisfied. But then she mentions a past interview Colin gave years ago, one where he talked about personal struggles in his 20s. She doesn't quote it directly, just suggests there might be a link between his past and the kind of roles he takes now. The energy in the room changes instantly. What was light conversation now feels heavy. Colin leans back in his chair, his expression more guarded. He says he knows which interview she's referring to, that he shared his story back then to help others, not to have it used to explain his career choices years later. His tone sharpens slightly as he says he didn't share that pain so it could become a talking point for future interviews. Kelly tries to explain that she didn't mean to cross a line, that she just wanted to understand his process. Her voice is gentle but tense. Colin says intentions don't erase impact, that bringing up personal trauma in front of millions can be harmful no matter how softly it's done. The audience is completely silent. You can almost feel the tension in the air. Kelly's team must be panicking behind the scenes. This is live TV, and nothing can be cut out. Kelly tries to stay composed. She says that when someone chooses to open up publicly, those stories naturally become part of how people interpret their art. She says it kindly, but the message is clear. If you share it, people will talk about it. Colin responds instantly. He says there's a huge difference between public discussion and a host bringing up someone's pain for entertainment. That word, entertainment, hangs heavy in the studio. Kelly reminds him that while it's a talk show, she aims for meaningful conversations, not just surface-level fun. Colin nods, saying that's exactly why this feels disappointing. If the goal is meaning, he says, then connecting his personal trauma to his acting choices isn't deep, it's reductive. Kelly's smile fades completely. She tells him she respects his feelings but insists she wasn't trying to be intrusive. She points out that artists have been analyzed through their work for centuries. Colin replies that's fine for literature, not for people who've actually lived through what they're being asked to relive. Kelly's tone grows firmer. She says he's discussed these topics before and wonders why her question struck such a nerve now. Colin's response silences the room. He says maybe he's just finally tired of pretending it's okay for people to treat his life like a story to pick apart. For a moment, Kelly doesn't know what to say. She apologizes, saying she never meant to make him uncomfortable, and adds that she thought sharing her own experiences made this a safe space for openness. Colin laughs bitterly. He says their experiences aren't comparable, that her honesty was celebrated while his cost him work. He explains that some studios passed on hiring him because of his past, that insurers charged more because of it. Kelly looks stunned. She admits she had no idea, saying she thought the industry had moved on from that kind of stigma. Colin shakes his head, saying that assumption is part of the problem. Kelly tries to steer things toward empathy, saying his work stands on its own. Colin cuts her off, asking if that's true, then why bring up his past at all? Why not just focus on the work? Kelly stumbles, mentioning context and connection, but Colin interrupts again, saying people watch movies to escape their own pain, not to be reminded of his. Kelly disagrees, saying audiences now want authenticity and realness. Colin replies sharply that authenticity doesn't mean forcing people to relive their trauma for views. He says vulnerability should be a choice, not an expectation. The audience is torn. Some nod with Colin, others with Kelly. Kelly says she understands his point and will be more careful with her approach. Colin tells her it's not just about being careful, it's about questioning the whole format of these interviews. He says maybe the entire system is broken. Kelly reminds him he agreed to come on the show. Colin says she's right, but adds that he often doesn't have a choice, that contracts and studios demand it, and refusing would hurt his career. Kelly's tone softens. For the first time, they both seem to really listen. She admits that even as a host, she's under pressure from producers and sponsors, and that she also feels trapped by expectations. Colin nods, and for a brief moment, there's mutual understanding. Kelly then suggests maybe conversations like this could spark change. Colin asks if she really believes that his frustration on live TV will fix anything. Kelly says maybe it won't fix everything, but every small challenge to the system counts. Colin looks doubtful, but says he hopes she's right. The studio is quiet, heavy with emotion. Kelly asks if he wants to speak directly to the audience. Colin looks into the camera and says anyone who feels pushed to reveal too much has the right to set boundaries. He says vulnerability is powerful, but it shouldn't be forced. That real strength sometimes means saying no. The audience is still. Kelly adds that she'll think more carefully about how curiosity and intrusion overlap. She thanks Colin for being honest even when it was uncomfortable. Colin thanks her for not cutting the conversation short. They shake hands, stiff but respectful. The crowd finally claps, softly and unsure. Colin waves and walks off as Kelly turns to the camera, her face showing exhaustion and reflection. She says this wasn't the talk she expected, but maybe that's what made it important. She hopes people won't pick sides, but instead think about what it all means. She closes the show quietly, her usual energy replaced by calm sincerity. As the show fades to a break, she exhales deeply, the moment clearly weighing on her. Minutes later, the internet explodes. Clips spread everywhere. Some say Colin was right to set boundaries, others think Kelly was just doing her job. Many believe both made valid points. Articles flood in. Experts debate mental health and media ethics. Actors start sharing their own stories about overstepping interviews. The debate doesn't end quickly, but something feels different. It opens a door for change, or at least for reflection. Maybe nothing shifts right away, but maybe this moment plants the seed. So what do you think? Did Colin go too far by confronting Kelly on air? Or was he right to call out the system? Was Kelly out of line, or simply following the format that's always existed? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe, because this discussion is only just beginning.